Hello and welcome to Channel Sports on Sunday. The show keeps going, and I tell you, I know that a lot of you are ready to be part of this. The grand finale, and that is what it is looking at in Doha. Qatar, beautiful, beautiful sceneries, beautiful structure everywhere. People can't even understand that temperatures that are hovering on 40 degrees centigrade, and athletes are performing wonders. But while others are performing wonders, I don't know what has been the case of Nigeria. We will look at that. We are going to take a look at that. It is not just where we were last week or 2 weeks back or where we are today. I do believe that even after this edition of this show, we shall take a comprehensive look of our performances right there in Doha. But before we go on all that, yes, Israel, the last bender at this year, he's 18-0. He has just unified the UFC middle belt title, so he's the undisputed champion. And I tell you this, here is a guy who just walked into UFC barely a year ago, just about a year ago. And here we are, that he has, is now the king of UFC for the middleweights. Because, right, Robert Whittaker, he went to his home in Australia and told him, when we enter into the octagon, it doesn't matter where it is. It is just you and I. What Muhammad Ali will tell you, you can run inside the rope square. You can run, but you cannot hide. And that was what happened early this morning. We shall look at that and see, because Theo gave me a graphic, description of exactly what happened. Of his portraying, Sherry, look, I am Omo Nigerian. Me, it is not coming out of there. It is in our culture, to go over there to Kule before our, our parents, and that was exactly what he did. And then GGG, he was stripped off. Yes, Golovin, Gennady Golovin was switched off. It was stripped of his title of the IBF. It's a middleweight then. And then he came back and he said, yes, you can take it outside the ring. But when I go into the ring, I will take it. But it was not just any fight. That fight was bloody. That fight could have gone either way. That fight was a fight started by Golovin, midway, moved into Saji, and then back again to Gennady. And I tell you, the calling there, the results were so close. Yes, they left here last week. They were here before they left for IAAF, that is the Nations Cup, the Amputee Football Nations Cup. And I tell you, the lads are doing well. Their first match was against the defending champions, Liberia. They won that match. The second match was against the Cameroonians. Our neighbors are always terrorize us. They also won that match. I think they are on course for something great. And we shall probably, if possible, if we can't get there, we shall let you see how it has been panning out. And then what happens between May last year and we are now, May this year, and we are now in October. Pochettino. Last year he was riding high. It was, we didn't reach of becoming the European champion. Right now, in 3-4 days, he considered 10 goals. And I don't know what is happening there. We shall take a look at football. We shall take a look at fantastic Liverpool as it is, because they are 8/8. Never have they done that. But they are there, right at the top. But then that last-minute penalty is still causing ripples, across the sports world. We shall look at all that, but let me introduce my guys who are in the house. Yemi, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Ken. Good afternoon, viewers. It's good to be here. A lot has been happening in the world of sport. Yes, you mentioned the World Athletics Championship going on in Doha. It's still very sad that as we speak, Nigeria is yet to pick up any medal. The last time we won a medal at the Athletics Championship was in 2013 in Moscow, if I remember very well. Yes, could it have been better? I would say yes. Our form at the All-African Games, we've been on a series for like 4 weeks now, where we're trying to benchmark the whole essence of getting an A in a mock exam and getting to the main exam and not being able to perform, and that's exactly what is playing out. And I think a lot needs to be done. We need to put our house in order. We need to focus on the fundamentals. We need to go back to the basics if really we want to make a push to come back to where we were when it comes to being a dominant force in athletics. But last week we reeled out a lot of history here when Nigeria got a lot of medal when it comes to track and field. But in the last couple of years, I think it's been the returns have been really, really diminishing, and we need to arrest that negative tide.
The returns have been diminishing. And we need to arrest that negative. You understand that sliding into the abyss, into the valley, into the lowest ebb that you can think of. While others are going up there, ascending to the zenith, ascending to greater heights, ascending to the apogee, we are there. We are not even just at the plateau. We are going down, down. Who sang that music? Chris Okote. I'm going down, down, down. Nigeria will not go down. I tell you, we will not go down. We are going to arrested development. We are going to arrest it, and then we can start developing. Theo, what is happening? Somebody scored his first goal, and then for Real Madrid.
Yeah. Eden Hazard scoring for Real Madrid in the 4-2 win over Granada. Good afternoon, yes, good to be on the show again. Real Madrid picking up their win yesterday and still maintaining their they are still on the summit of the La Liga table this season. It's been topsy-turvy for Zinedine Zidane and his guys. They found it very difficult to string good performances together. And then against Granada, a team that actually been struggling in the La Liga. Real Madrid still struggled, but they overcame, though they considered 2 goals. But then again, we're still looking to see if at any point he can replicate the form that made him go on to win 3 consecutive Champions League titles in a row. But I really want to talk about Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
The reigning, defending, undisputed middleweight UFC champion of the world. And he did it in emphatic style yesterday. This morning, actually. He said, I was going to send him to bed early. And exactly what he did. It was a very, very impressive fight. Both men, you knew they were out to hurt each other. But after he won that fight, the gesture towards his parents, laying on the floor, prostrating, and to our culture and everything, really, really impressive for the whole world to see. It sure shows that under 20 months, this is what he's been able to achieve. He made his debut about 20 months ago, and right now he's at the top of the summit as far as UFC is concerned. It shows you that hard work really pays, and so far so good. I think he's the embodiment of all of that.
Hard work really pays. Is the embodiment of all of that. But let me tell you this, that you can be a champion, you can be respectful. You can be a champion. It doesn't mean that because of that you have to be arrogant. You can be a champion. That tells you that, yes, that is where the discipline, that is where the respect, that is where the African in us come in. I tell you this from Oyubani. Ask him, I tell you, the guy is right. Okay, we want to go to Doha. I'm being told that, yes, that we have Bamba Kone right there in Doha. He's been there before the championship. He's there up to the last day of the championship. Is Bamba there now?
Yes, I'm right here.
Yes.
Thanks for
having Bamba, the story has not changed concerning Nigeria. But let us start from the good news first. In being optimistic, with Toby Amuson and Ese Brume, I mean, at least they are still made that hope for Nigeria. Is that the last hope, or after that there is still like hope?
They are the last 2 competing for Nigeria at these World Championships. And honestly, you could not have written a better script than this, because they were our best medal hopes going into the championship. They both get to compete in the finals of the events on the final day. Nigeria, no medals at the World Championships in 20 years, apart from Leslie Okagbere's double medals in 2013. I have a feeling Nigeria has a chance of getting our first world champion ever at the World Championship. Today could be Super Sunday for Nigeria. You know, on form this season, possibly my head is telling me that Esekrume and Jamuso may both win silver medals. My heart is telling me we will get our first world champion today. So I'm going with my heart, 2 gold medals for Nigeria, 1 gold and 1 silver.
Okay, Bimbo, Bimbo, I'm just, I wish I can look into your heart now because, Bimbo, that is where most Nigerians want to reside. Most Nigerians want to reside in your heart and see, because you see that color of gold, you know. Sometimes we just go to this championship that any medal, we say, let's just get a medal. You understand? Even if it's a golden bronze, because Bimbo, from what we are looking at it, because we try to extract the African, teams that are there now. About 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 African teams already on the medals table. Kenya is there. Kenya is there with 4 gold, 2 silver, and 3 bronze medals. Ethiopia is there with 2 gold, 4 silver, and a bronze medal for now. Uganda has a gold, and then Burkina Faso. You remember Zango? That was his name. Remember, Cote d'Ivoire, Morocco, and Namibia all have a bronze medal each. Now, let's come back to Bambo. Bambo, we've seen this, and then you remember we looked at those analyses then about the kings of Africa. When we're at the All Africa Games, we have the kings. We have the kings of Africa. And then we have those when they go to the world, they represent us. Yemi says sometimes it's like passing the mock and failing the main exam. What should we do so that when this thing comes in, I want us to look, before we look at details of what is going on, what kind of plans, what kind of things should we do to say, yes, we can do what the Kenyans, what the Ethiopians are doing at the moment?
I mean, obviously, you forgot the honorary African team, which is Bahrain, who have 1 gold and 1 bronze.
Yes.
All won by Nigerians.
Yes.
Obviously, you saw Salwa Ednasa's the 3rd fastest 400 meters ever. Incredible. The girl left Nigeria 6 years ago.
Yes.
And I think that indication of what is possible if we just buckle down and start investing in our best talents. It's not rocket science. This girl could not have won the World Championships 3-4 years ago. She got a silver 2 years ago, and today she has upgraded to gold. So it is the longevity, it is the long-term planning. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, we tend not to think beyond the next 1 or 2 years. And right now, the whole country, we can already identify which athletes are on track to be the next Salwa, if they are put into strong programs. You have the likes of Evo Fili, who ran 51.5 at these World Championships. You have the likes of Unse Maobong, who won the National Sports Festival 400 meters last year as a teenager. So, we already know who those athletes are that have this level of potential to be world champions in the next 4, 5, 6 years. It's left for Nigeria to find a way to make sure that these athletes stay in the pipeline. We need to set up good development programs. I'm proud to say that Making of Champions, we had 2 of our athletes here at the World Championships. One of them, Joy Udogale, has been with us for 4 years now, right from secondary school. And now she's the 100-meter national champion in Nigeria today at the age of 20. Blessing Oladiye, 19 years old, only been with us for 2 years. And this is the biggest stage, And, in all honesty, if we're doing what we're meant to be doing, we should have the likes of Salwa and co on our team already winning world titles. So this is just a cautionary tale, I think, for Nigeria for the next few years, that we need to start somewhere. We are not going to get a world champion overnight, but today could be that day where the sun just smiles on Nigeria. Tobi Amusan, number 3 in the world, ranked this year, 12:48, PB in the rounds, in the hurdles. If she keeps it all together, the favorite is Daniel Williams. But guess what? Psychologically, Tobi has the advantage of beating Danielle at the Commonwealth Games last year.
Yeah.
Anything possible. And then you look at Ese Brume as well, 7:05 this year, 2nd furthest all-time for Nigeria, 2nd furthest jump in the world this year, only behind Milaika Mihambo of Germany, who also is in the final. 1 jump Ese Brume needed to get to the final, 6:89. Ese Brume can jump 7 meters today. Tobi Amusan will likely break the African record today held by Gloria Loze since 1999, 12:44. So I think, this is as optimistic as I can be about the Nigeria's chances at these World Championships. It really comes down to these 2 world-class athletes, and hopefully they will help propel us to more seriousness in investing in our athletes for the future.
Okay, before we come back to Nigeria, and then, you did mention that mixed doubles by Bahrain. And then, that team, when you now check that the US team that got gold, there is one Courtney Okolo there. You remember that's, which means in the team that won gold and silver, bronze, there are 5 Nigerians. 5 Nigerians who took part in that, in that final race. But let's go to the tournament itself entirely. I mean, Hassan, I don't know. Of course, he's representing the Netherlands, but he is supposed to have also been winning that particular. He's supposed to also be winning that particular medal for Ethiopia. So, I mean, who has been your standout athlete in this championship so far?
Well, you could talk about the likes of Christian Coleman, a brilliant win in the 100 meters mixed fast. Talk about Noah Lyles. But really, you probably have to look at Sifan Hassan and say, look, 10,000 meter victory, 1,500 meter victory, never been done before, that double. Obviously, the only drawback is the huge shadow hanging over her because of her coach, Alberto Salazar, who just got banned in the middle of these championships for anti-doping infractions.
Yeah.
We will not come to find out in the future at any point that she was doping, but it's very worrying that a coach gets banned for doping and the athletes are not implicated in any way. That's a puzzling one for most people to understand.
And but I think those are two different things, Bambo. One, of course, you can indict the coach if the coach is involved. But then if these athletes are tested on and off competition, right? I mean, and then you found nothing in them, do you just blanket them because of their coach?
No, of course not. But you just have to wonder, like, if a coach has had this hanging over them for so many years, since 2015, why would an athlete want to go to that coach and associate with them? It's a huge risk in the reputation that they've taken. Even if they're not doping, it's a huge risk by association. So, I mean, let's wait and see how things play out over the coming days, months, weeks, years. And let's hope that, we are actually witnessing clean performances.
Exactly. That is, I mean, I love that. Let's hope, because I would want certain joy, something kind of a kill joy after somebody has achieved so much. I now come and said, man, is that a bullet burn was how many hours? It didn't take much before that thing happened. But then now let's come back. Bambo, I'm intrigued. A lot of Nigerians are also intrigued. You just talked about, Salwa. Of course, Salwa was, to put it in that case, Saul and Paul. As Saul, she was Ebele Chukwu, right, representing Anambra State at the National Sport Festival, at the Youth Sport Festival, right? She was there at the School Sport Festival. That was in 2013. That was just 6 years ago. And then she transformed from Saul to Paul, from Ebele Chukwu, to Salwa El Nassar. And right now she is one of the best she's the best in the world in what she does. Now, you just talked about herself and some other 3 of the other athletes also who formed that mixed relay team that won bronze for Bahrain, and they were all Nigerians. I mean, they were all born in Nigeria, bred in Nigeria, with there. And so if this is what we are talking about, how come, Bambo, let me ask you this, because I know you are doing a great job, with Making of Champions, with the job with the Gabriel, and all of them coming up. How come that Nigerians who were born in Nigeria and then left out of, go outside, they become great? Nigerians who were born of Nigerian parents outside, they become great. Nigerians who were born in Nigeria and stay in Nigeria fail to achieve. How do you get this correlation that when you are born in Nigeria and you go out, you do well, when your parents are outside and you are there, you do well. But when you are born, the same pool where they came from, the same tree where you pluck the trees, we cannot get it done. I mean, what is Bahrain doing that we are supposed to be doing, Bambo?
They are caring for our athletes in the way we are not caring for them. We're not looking after our athletes. We're not supporting them. We're not sponsoring them. We're not giving them scholarships. You know, many people look at what we're doing at Making of Champions and ask me the question, why is this talented athlete still in Nigeria? Why is that talented athlete still in Nigeria? And people need to look closer. The reason is we've been able to get them sponsors. We've been able to get them scholarships. You know, when you can give an athlete a full ride scholarship in Nigeria, and you have to match what they're doing in the US. You have to match what they're doing in Jamaica. That's what Bahrain was able to do. They're able to just say, look, we're going to take care of all your needs. We're going to feed you. We're going to look after you. You're not going to want for anything. How many athletes in Nigeria can say that they don't want for anything? You know, and that is what we need to start setting in Nigeria. The whole country, corporate Nigeria, needs to come together and start sponsoring our promising athletes. Don't wait for USA to develop them. The NCAA is a great route, but it cannot be the only route. And Jamaica has proved that time and time again that you don't need to go to America. And then with regards to Bahrain, we can see, you know, I wrote a story about this 3 years ago called the Bahrain Drain. And, you know, I think largely a lot of the publicity in the last 3 years, the new IAAF rule, and what we're doing in Nigeria at Making of Champions has helped to stem the tide of athletes rushing to Bahrain, you know. So it's unfortunate. We celebrate those athletes that won for Bahrain. They did the best for themselves at that stage of their career, and we can only hope that going forward, as a nation, we can do better by our athletes rather than having them go to Bahrain. You know, it's really, really tragic.
Okay, finally, I want to ask you a two-pronged question so that you can just answer both of them. One of them, what really happened to Divine, Raymond, Kevo, and Blessing? I mean, they were supposed to be our great hope going to this championship. And two, to your knowledge, are Nigerian universities offering scholarship to our athletes?
Okay. So the first question, you know, the question about Divine and Raymond, I think Raymond had a good championship, reaching the semifinals of the 100 meters. Divine also reached the semifinal of the 200, actually. I know he wanted more. He probably wanted to be in the final, be in the mix for a medal. But sometimes after a long NCAA season, it just doesn't work out. So I think we'll be looking at the Olympic season next year. Now that Divine has gone pro, there's no NCAA to distract him. He can gear up everything to target the Olympics. You know, why Divine and Raymond did not run in the relay when there are two fastest legs, that's a question for the coaching team and a question for the athlete to answer. Blessing, similar. I think, you know, she spoke to us in the mixed zone, and obviously it's a championship that she wants to move on from. But you can look forward to the Olympics and see if we can get that medal that she's still hoping, fighting for. So we wish her all the best on that. Then the second part of your question was?
Nigerian universities, to your knowledge, any of them offering scholarship to our athletes?
I believe so. I believe that some universities are offering some level of support. I know Uniport has a very strong support for athletes. I know some other universities are doing a little bit as well. We have several of our athletes, because we're based in Lagos, going to the University of Lagos, but we have also our own private sponsors to thank for athletes like Jerry Jakpa, Joe Udo Gabriel, going to university and having all their needs taken care of. School fees, accommodation, feeding, training, going to competitions. I mean, the two of them have been to Botswana this year, been to Italy this year, been to for home-based athletes at that age.
Okay.
So it's been it's been incredible, and I think support should be more from the private sector.
And then the investors. We want to go on a very short break, Bambo. Thank you very much for being part of the show. When we come back, Channel Sport on Sunday continues.